Good afternoon and welcome to this month's webinar. Thank you for joining us. My name is Henry. I'll be hosting today. Most of you likely already know me. This time we will look at the Landlord login via Rentman Online, or the Landlord portal, if you will. This is very useful. The landlord can log on and access all management statements, copies of certificates, copies of tenancy agreements, see transactions and rent histories, and the like. This follows on from last month's webinar where we looked at the tenant and contractor login and reporting maintenance issues, referring that to the contractor, etc. If you did not see last month's webinar, please note it is available online. If you go to the Help tab here at the top and click Tutorials, that will take you to our YouTube page where you can find a copy of last month's webinar. Today's webinar will also be made available here. You can also go to Nigel's blog, rentman.blog, where you will find, as well as other useful information, a copy of the webinar uploaded. Again, today's webinar will be made available here as well. Let's get started. So, if we, I set up a test landlord here. So, if we open the landlord screen and go to Notes on the left, here you will find the landlord's Rentman Online login credentials. Rentman will automatically generate the information here based on the landlord's email address and information. To the right, you've got two buttons. Email will send an email with a link to the Rentman online site, as well as the login credentials and a sort of welcome email to the landlord. This email template is fully customizable, so we can change it to suit your needs, suit your style, add branding, whatever's necessary. You'll also find a refresh button. This resends these login credentials to the Rentman online website. So, for example, if you made any changes to the username or password here, you would click refresh to resend this information. You can also send, you don't necessarily have to send information to the landlords one by one like this. You can also send them in bulk. I will show you how to do that later. So once you've sent the landlord their login credentials, they can go to the rentman.online website where they will get this login page. Now, it's important to note they don't necessarily have to go to Rentman Online. You can actually embed this login on your own company website. So you can have a dedicated page or section on your website where the landlord will find this login section. We can also change the color scheme and the like to suit your or to fit your company's branding and your website's color scheme. Note that this page, we are obviously viewing it on a desktop computer, but it's compatible with mobile devices, iPhones, Androids, iPads, whatever. It will adjust the screen size and it looks nice on any device. So let's log in. Starting here at the top, we've got our details here. Of course, you wouldn't want our details to show for your landlords. So when your landlords log in, they will see your company logo here in the top left corner, your telephone number, email address, and contact us link. I'll show you where these are set up in Rentman a bit later on. What's nice about this is the landlord can simply click or tap your phone number to call you. Same for the email address. They just click or tap to send you an email. And the contact us link or the website link here at the top would be the same. Furthermore, note that you can actually add Rentman to the Android homepage or the iPhone homepage as a web app. So it appears as an app on mobile devices. They don't have to open up the browser each time to go to the site. Starting here at the top, we've got a summary of the landlord's managed properties, showing useful information such as the last time a management statement was sent, the next management statement that is due, and also a link to the latest management statement that was sent. If they click that, it opens up a PDF copy of the last management statement sent, which the landlord can then download or print or do whatever they need to do. This would be available for all managed properties. If we continue down, you've got a summary of the active tenancies for this landlord, showing all the basic information the landlord would need to see at a glance. Very nice is on the right hand side, you've got a copy of the tenancy agreement for each tenancy. If the landlord needs a copy of that, they can just click here and it opens up a copy of the tenancy agreement. If we continue down, there's a balances section that shows the current balance for each property. So we can see for 75 Church Lane, for example, there is a balance of £950. If we continue down, we have the history section. Um, don't be concerned; it's showing a lot of information. I've turned everything on here. You can limit what is visible here, so you don't have to show the landlord as much information as I'm showing in this example. We have a filter option here on the right. It is currently set to show information for all managed properties, but we can choose to show it just for one property. We can choose to show it just for one tenancy, for example. So if I select 24 Main Road and filter, it will refresh the page and then show information for that one property only. Starting here on the left, we have the ledger. This is optional. You can turn this on or off and decide whether or not to show this to the landlord. It shows all transactions for the selected property with the latest transactions at the top. Now, you may choose not to show the landlord transactions until you've actually sent a management statement. And for that reason, this can actually be turned off. Next, you have the rent, which shows the full rent history for the selected property, rent dues, and rents received. Then we have deposits. You can see the deposits for the selected property. If I switch it to all here and check the deposits again, it will be deposits for all the landlord's properties. Moving on, we have bills, any maintenance bills entered for the landlord's properties. They can also access bill attachments. So if you attach a copy of the invoice from the contractor here, the landlord can just click that to access a copy. Next, which is very useful, is certificates. Here, the landlord can see a list of all active certificates for their properties. Very nice about this is on the right hand side, you can access a copy of the actual certificate. So the landlord can get copies of these certificates from here, and he doesn't need to ask you to actually send them a copy. For EPCs, which I quite like, you've got two attachments. The first one would be the EPC graph, and the second one will be a copy of the actual certificate on the government website itself. It's based on it uses the EPC certificate number. Obviously, I didn't enter a real EPC certificate number here, so it's not going to work in this case. But if you would click that for an actual certificate, it'll take you to the definitive version of the certificate online. Finally, we have the journals section. This shows any journal events for the selected property. You can control what is shown here. There are several settings allowing you to limit what will be visible here. You can also turn it on and off, or individual journal events can also be removed or shown in this section. So you have full control. Um, any journal event, such as management statements sent, certificates added, will be visible here, and the attachments are also accessible via the blue links you see here. Great about this is the landlord can access past management statements. So if they say, for example, they need a copy of the management statement for May, they can just locate the management statement event, click on that, and it opens up a copy of the statement. Moving on, let's look at a couple of settings for Rentman Online. If we go back to Rentman and first off the company details, the telephone number, email address, and logo you set here, that is what Rentman will display here at the top of the page. Then if we go to the company preferences and select Rentman.online on the left, starting at the top, we have the Show Landlord Transaction Ledger option. That controls the ledger that I showed you before. So this ledger with showing all transactions, if we uncheck that box, that ledger will not be visible to landlords. Below that, we have the contact us URL or contact us link. Usually, we'd enter a link to your website's contact us page in there, and that will be displayed here at the top. You can also choose not to enter anything, and then no link will be displayed there. On the right-hand side, you have the journal settings. This controls the journals that are visible in the Rentman online page or the landlord portal. You can decide to not to show legal documents, not to show invoices, letting statements, management statements, etc. Usually, people would perhaps uncheck emails sent and emails received here, but it allows you a lot of control. As you can see, there are several categories. Furthermore, if we go to the landlord screen or the property or tenancy, any screen in Rentman where you can access the journal tab, for individual journal event, you can turn that on or off. So as you can see, this journal event is marked as visible to the landlord on web. If we were to uncheck that and save, this event would immediately be removed from the journal section here and would no longer be visible. Similarly, if we look at a different event that is currently not visible, perhaps this one, if we were to go and check that box and then save, this would immediately become visible to the landlord online. So it allows you full control over the journals that are visible. If we continue on, here at the bottom, you've got a generate annual statements option, this one here. This, if that is turned on, Rentman will create an annual statement and save a copy of that on Rentman Online each year just after the financial year end. So the landlord can pull copies of annual statements for tax purposes from Rentman Online without you having to do anything. It's all automated. In coming months, we will also add a quarterly statement option to comply with the new legislation. So landlords would be able to pull their quarterly statements from Rentman Online as well, without you having to do anything. Here on the left, we have the Use Custom Colors section. This is especially useful if you are embedding the Rentman login page on your website. So if you decide to add this login section on your website, we can change the color scheme, how the text appears on screen. We can get that to match your website colors. It's very simple. You just tick the box and then you can click and decide what color each type of section on the page would be. I think that about covers it. Let me just show you two more options here. If you go to System at the top of Rentman, you have a Send Credentials section where you can email the login credentials to all your landlords in one go, instead of just sending it for the individual landlord from here. You also have a login history option where you can keep track of who is logging into Rentman Online on which dates, and it allows you to pull reports showing that. And I think that about covers it for today. Again, this webinar will be available online, both on our YouTube page and on Nigel's blog, Rentman.blog. Uh, and again, do watch last month's webinar as well if you haven't done so already. Just one last thing to note. It might be a good idea to check out the help page on Rentman Online as well. If you go to the help in Rentman and click the help option on the left, here under other, there's a very nice help document covering all the Rentman Online details. So anything you may want to know, you can read here as well. That should do it for today. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have any suggestions for topics for next month's webinar, please do reach out. I hope you all have a good day. Goodbye.